Seem to be saying it an awful lot at the moment. It's another really entertaining spectacle to watch today. What did you make of it?
Well, we don't do boring. I think they're a really good team, and you can see why they're unbeaten. They're brave in what they do, but they're confident as well. They have a culture and a way of doing things, and they bring players in to supplement that with with a limited wage bill. So sometimes that's a little bit easier because you know the type of player that you want. And they're a benchmark for us.
And in terms of the game itself, do you think the way both teams went about it and that possession style, was that reflected in the quality of the football today?
Well, I think our stall was to stop them playing. I don't think I think possession-wise they were always going to be better than us. So it was pointless trying to come here and outpass them. That wasn't going to be. We're not at that stage. But we tried to stop them and then play off the broken ball. So in that sense, that game plan worked. We put an extra pair of legs in there with Bobby Reid, and got the goal because we were always a threat. Defended really well. Said the right things at half time, and then walked out there and made probably 4 mistakes, one after another, in the start of the second half. We have a centre half with a ice pack on his ankle at half time, and then we stick the ball straight to him from a kick off. He shanks it. Scott Wagstaff gives the ball away. Frankie scuffs a kick, play a quick free kick, and when it was never on, and then they score a goal. So talk about shooting themselves in the foot. But we're a young team, and it's sometimes you've got to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt, and we're still learning and trying to form. But it's trying to do that in the English league is difficult, and grateful for the point in the end.
You spoke about the youth of the team last week, and then you've brought in Joe Bryan and Bobby Reid from the start today. Did they really do themselves justice out there?
They've got legs and they'll do good things, but they're also naive. You've got to live with it. That'll cost you. That'll cost you sometimes. You put Jordan Winter on at the end, and he couldn't get up to the pace of the game, and then end up being a bit of a liability for us. But that's where we are at the moment. And, the sooner we get that understanding through everybody, in and out the club, then the better.
And talking of Joe, certainly from my position, it looked like a clear penalty on him. Did you feel the same way?
Any time there's a tackle in the box, you think it's a penalty, because you see it through rose-tinted glasses, and the referee blew for everything and nothing, which is what I'll say to him. You blew for every foul and then not fouls, so it's that consistency. But there's nothing we can do about it. Just ask the question politely, and hopefully you get a sensible answer.
And finally, a word on Sam Baldock, because it was always going to be a big day for him today, but he really produced with 2 clinical finishes.
Yeah, we opted to come up here and play almost with 2 strikers and leave them up, and then defend. It was really an 8v8 defensive game and 2v2 at the other end. So we just didn't feel we could come here and drop one of the strikers in. We think their possession would have give us problems. Not as much defending, but when we win the ball, we'd have no target. So we opted to leave Jay and Sam right up onto their 2 centre halves, and we always thought we'd get a chance, and that proved right. The second one's probably as good a goal as you see. Not so much for the finish, but for the watching the ball out the sky, and then his first touch sets it up for the shot. We all know he can finish. Like I said before, he's probably missed easier chances in the games we've played, and we should be talking about coming here and winning. To be fair, with the effort that we've put in, but they've opened us up twice and scored 2 really good goals, or poor defending, whichever hat fits. And we've worked really hard for it. There's a lot of tired legs out there. So back to recovering and trying to get up for the Palace game.